He started telling me like little snippets of how he's hooked up with people that he has driven before. Hey guys, welcome back to my XL life. If you're new here, my name is Xander. Today's video is going to be about my experience with Uber. I have a bunch of Uber stories, so I'm going to give you my top 2 right now. I was out with my friends and we were drinking and it got late, so I wanted to catch an Uber. I didn't feel like catching public transportation because it was going to take me a while. So I request this Uber and I see that he has like a minivan. So I'm like, okay, cool, family oriented car. It's going to be a smooth ride or whatever. He picks me up. So he's asked me, how's my night going? I said it was fine. We were at such and such bar. And he was like, oh, do you frequent bars in this area? So I'm like, I'm familiar with them. So he started asking me about different clubs in the vicinity. So all the clubs that he was naming were all the gay clubs. So yeah, I know about them because I'm gay. So we're driving. And he keeps picking up all these random small talks with me. And normally if I'm like sober, I wouldn't pay too much attention to them, but because I was a little inebriated, I couldn't help but really focus in on the specific conversations we were having. And he just kept mentioning a bunch of like gay things. And I was like, okay, so this man is either very curious, very DL, or extremely gay. So we're driving, and I keep noticing that he is like looking at me through the rearview mirror. So I start asking him questions, and I asked him, well, have you ever been to such and such bar or such place? And he said no, but he has always wanted to go. And I'm like, oh, you should just go with some of your friends or whatever. And he says that he doesn't have too many friends that he can go with into that specific place. I came to the conclusion that he must be DL. So we're driving, and he starts mentioning all the men that he has encountered while driving through Uber. And then he just randomly tells me how cute I am. So I was like, okay, so you just came out to me, that's cool, thank you very much. You're pretty cute too, but I'm not going to tell you that because this is already awkward and inappropriate. He started telling me like little snippets of how he's hooked up with people that he has driven before. Oh, I see where this is going. You want me to be one of those chicas. So I'm like, well, let me try to flip it and try to get a free ride out of it without having to do anything for it. Which is pretty messed up, but I mean, I just spent all this money at the bar. If I can save some bucks on my Uber trip, why not? We're coming up near my neighborhood and he's getting too excited that we're getting closer to my destination. So that's when I decided like, hey, this might not be such a good idea of trying to get a free ride out this guy. So I asked him to pull over like 3 blocks away from where I lived. And I got out and he's like, oh, we're not there yet. I'm like, oh no, it's cool because I'm about to go to a friend's house really fast or go to my cousin's house. I forgot what I said. But I essentially was like, I don't want you dropping me off in front of my crib. I didn't want him to know where I lived. I don't need him to see the front door. He doesn't need to know anything about the specific location of my destination. Just let me out right here and I'll walk the rest of the way, which I did. He charged me. Then I got a text because apparently they can text you or whatever. And he had a text saying, have a good night. This is my kick information and blah, 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 blah. And I never reached out to him. I don't know where he is. That's my story about the random DL gay guy who drove me. So, for my next story, I'm not sure if anybody else does this, but sometimes when I get Uber rides, I get the sensation like they don't really know who you are, so you can be any person that you want to be. So sometimes I like to play this game. So this one particular time, I got picked up from my local supermarket and I had a bunch of bags with me. So it was like this older gentleman. He was really nice. He helped me put everything in the trunk of his car. And as we're driving, he was asking me some questions. how are the sales inside the store? Why do I have so many bags if I'm just here by myself? And he was asking me if I had a family. I decided to say that I did have a family and that I was a single father of 2. So he asked me, oh, what are your kids' names? And I said, well, their nicknames are Baby Bash and Princess Nala. Side note, if you don't know, Baby Bash and Princess Nala are my cats. So, I mean, they're essentially my kids. And we're driving, and he's asking me, oh, how old are they? I'm saying, oh, they're young. Nala is older, so I said she's 2 and he's 1, and they asked where the baby mom is, and I said, oh, she and I didn't really work out, so she has this new dude and she lives somewhere in Jersey or something. I'm in school and I work and I have a bunch of support from my family, but I have sole custody and I live in this luxurious neighborhood and all this extra stuff, and he was like really believing it. If there's anything that you need, feel free to like reach out to me. He gave me his number, and it was like really nice of him because he was an older gentleman, and I started feeling bad because I lied, but at the same time I was like cracking up. So he dropped me off, he helped me carry the stuff inside the apartment. Then I went upstairs and I said hi to my cats and I put the food away, and that was the end of my trip. Okay, so those are my stories with Uber. Press a thumbs up if you like stories like this. I have a bunch of them that I don't mind sharing, and I think they're pretty ridiculous, so I would love to share them with you. So press thumbs up if that's something that you'll be interested in. Press subscribe if you haven't yet, or if you're new to this channel, and I'll see you in my next video.